Space is a vacuum, a realm where sound cannot travel due to the lack of atmosphere. Without air, there's no medium for vibrations to become audible noise. Yet against all odds, humans have found a way to bring sound into space through creativity, technology, and the enduring need to express ourselves. Thank you for tuning into the program, because today we're talking about music in space. Music in space. Alright, we talked about music in space a little bit not too long ago, sort of, with the whole Katy Perry going to space thing. That was fun, right? You know, that made me start thinking I wanted to build on that, and I want to actually talk about music that is in space. And honestly, the things that I found, you might be surprised. Stick around to the end. The last one's a doozy. And real quick, just before I get started, I just wanted to say thank you so much for 300 subscribers. I know a bunch of people who are watching this probably aren't even subscribed, probably don't care, so I'm not going to linger on it too much. But if you are, thank you so much for the support. It means a lot. We've gotten so far already just this year, and it means a lot to me. Thank you so much. On to the video. Let's just start off by talking, what was the first song that was played in space? The first song ever played in space was one I certainly didn't expect, and that's Jingle Bells. It was performed by Wally Schurter and Tom Stafford aboard NASA's Gemini 6A mission on December 16, 1965. Schurter, a veteran astronaut and Navy pilot, and Stafford, a U.S. Air Force officer and future Apollo commander, were conducting a rendezvous mission with Gemini 7 when they decided to lighten the mood with a festive surprise. Near the end of their mission, they reported seeing a UFO piloted by a command module and 8 tiny reindeer. What? Before breaking into a playful rendition of Jingle Bells, using a smuggled harmonica instead of sleigh bells, both of which had been secretly brought aboard. That's a stunt, 100%, because they secretly brought these instruments on board, sleigh bells and a harmonica, and they're like, we're gonna act like we saw Santa Claus, and then we're gonna bust out Jingle Bells. Nice try, you're not fooling me. I did, however, one time, random story, I was in the mountains at a cabin with my girlfriend, and I saw a shitload of tiny floating dots like going in a waving pattern, and I asked my girlfriend, like, are you seeing this? And she was like, yeah, that's cool. And I was freaking out. I legitimately thought I saw Santa Claus, and turns out it was just Starlink, so that really crushed my dreams. But I for real thought I saw Santa for a moment. Like, I was right back into it. I was like, holy shit. I was like clicking my heels and shit, like, Xbox. This impromptu performance wasn't just a joke. It was a reminder of humanity's needs for joy and connection, even in the stark silence of space. The harmonica and bells were the first musical instruments ever played in orbit, and the moment became a memorable blend of humor, culture, and history. NASA later documented the event, and the Smithsonian even acquired the tiny Hohner harmonica Schurter used. In an environment of cold metal, tight quarters, and high stress, the simple tunes served as a morale boost and a symbol of how astronauts bring pieces of home with them, even on groundbreaking missions. Next up, we have the first song listened to in space, on Apollo 10 in May 1969. It was Fly Me to the Moon. Next up, we're going to talk about the Voyager Golden Record. The Voyager Golden Record is a 12-inch gold-plated copper disc launched into space aboard Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 in 1977. Created as a kind of time capsule or interstellar message in a bottle, the record was designed to communicate the story of Earth to any extraterrestrial life that might encounter it. The contents were carefully selected to showcase the diversity of life and culture on Earth and include 115 images, natural sounds like thunder, bird songs, and laughter, greetings in 55 different languages, an eclectic mix of music from around the world, from Beethoven and Bach to Chuck Berry, traditional Japanese shakuhachi music, and more. The record was curated primarily by Dr. Carl Sagan and a committee of scientists, artists, and experts appointed by NASA. This is where the money's going? This is where the money's going. Okay, got it. They spent over a year in 1976 to 77 selecting material that represented a broad, humanistic view of life on Earth. Voyager 1 and 2 were part of a mission to explore the outer planets of the solar system, but once they had completed their primary objectives, they continued traveling outward toward interstellar space. The Golden Record was included not for scientific data, but rather a symbolic gesture, an optimistic message of peace and curiosity meant to represent the best of humanity to any intelligent life that may find it, even billions of years from now. Imagine they figure out like crazy, space movement and stuff. We all just got cars, we can go through space, and you just see this little piece of space junk and you rate it and there's just a golden record, and then next thing you know, you freaking listen to Beethoven. I'd be like, oh. You'd probably think that was more futuristic than you driving through space, honestly. Now, this is where the video gets dope as shit. The sonification of the black hole in the Perseus galaxy cluster. The sonification of the black hole in the Perseus galaxy cluster is a groundbreaking project by NASA that translates astronomical data into audible sound. Located about 250 million light years from Earth, this supermassive black hole sits at the center of the Perseus cluster and was originally observed in X-ray wavelengths by the Chandra X-ray Observatory. Scientists discovered that the black hole's activity created pressure waves, essentially sound waves, that rippled through the surrounding hot gas, stirring up the cluster's plasma. These waves are originally too deep for human hearing, roughly 57 octaves below middle C. To help those out, start at middle C and go 57 octaves down. But NASA shifted them into the audible range by scaling the data upwards by millions of times in frequency. The result is a deep, eerie tone that gives a new way to experience astronomical phenomena through sound. This process is called sonification, and while the black hole isn't literally singing, the technique allows researchers and the public to interpret complex cosmic events in a more sensory way. The Perseus sonification reveals not only the dynamic nature of black holes, but also how data from seemingly silent parts of the universe can be transformed into something we can perceive. It's both a scientific tool and a haunting artistic expression of the universe's vast hidden forces. Now, similar to the sonification of the black hole, next we're going to talk about something super cool, and that's where they actually took data from space and they turned it into sheet music for performance. In recent years, scientists and composers have collaborated to transform astronomical data into traditional sheet music, allowing orchestras to perform actual music from space. This process, known as data sonification, involves converting numerical or image-based data such as light frequencies, star positions, or cosmic radiation into musical notes, rhythms, and dynamics. One notable example is the work done by NASA and astronomers from the Chandra X-ray Observatory, who used X-ray data from star clusters, galaxies, and black holes to generate melodies and harmonies. These data were mapped to musical scales with variables like brightness or location influencing pitch, volume, and instrument choice. One of the most prominent performances of this data-derived music was by the Dallas Symphony Orchestra in 2022. The ensemble played a piece based on data from the Pillars of Creation in the Eagle Nebula, among other celestial sources. The concert was conducted by Gemma New, a rising star in the world of classical music and a regular guest conductor with major orchestras. The result was a powerful fusion of science and art, offering audiences a unique way to hear the cosmos while bringing the awareness to how vast and dynamic the universe truly is, even when translated into the language of earthbound instruments. With technology advancing and us learning more about space and doing all this cool stuff, I have no doubt that we're going to see more cool stuff rise from this, or we're just going to cap out at AI-generated music. I don't know. But at the end of the day, all of this is still pretty freaking sick. If you want, go look up the Voyager Golden Record, see what some of the stuff is on it, and see how funny or not you think some of the musical choices are, at least anything that's Western that we would know of, to be like, really, this is what they threw on there? But with that being said, thank you so much for being here. It means a lot. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, do whatever. It helps me out a lot. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye!